My child, stop for a moment and listen closely, because this is not random and it is not something you stumbled upon by chance. I am speaking to you right now in this very moment because you have been carrying something heavy inside you that no one else fully sees, and I know how tired you have been, not just physically but deep in your spirit, that quiet exhaustion that does not go away even after rest. That feeling that something in your life has been shifting but you cannot quite explain it. And I need you to understand that what you are sensing is real and it matters, because there have been moments recently when you questioned whether anyone truly hears your silent prayers, whether your efforts are seen, whether the waiting has any purpose at all, and I want you to know that I have been with you through every second of it, through the long nights when your thoughts would not settle, through the days when you kept going even when your heart felt uncertain, and even in the small, ordinary moments like sitting alone in your car or staring at the ceiling trying to make sense of everything. I was there and I saw it all, and this message has reached you now because something within you is ready to receive it, not perfectly, not completely, but enough to begin to understand that you are not lost, you are not behind, and you have not been forgotten, and I know it has felt like you have been waiting for something to change, waiting for clarity, waiting for a sign that things are finally moving forward, and it may have seemed like nothing was happening, like time was passing without answers. But what you could not see is that there has been movement beneath the surface, quiet and steady, preparing you in ways that do not always feel comfortable, and that is why this moment matters, because you almost missed the subtle shift that has already begun, the small changes in how you think, how you feel, how you respond to things that once overwhelmed you, and this is how transformation starts, not all at once, but gently, in ways that invite you to pause and pay attention. So stay with me here, because the next part is something you have been asking for without even realizing it, and it will help you see your situation in a new light, one that brings not pressure but peace, not confusion but quiet understanding, and all I ask from you right now is not to have everything figured out, but simply to be present in this moment and allow yourself to hear what has been waiting for you all along, my child. What you have been feeling lately is not confusion as you once believed. It is awareness beginning to rise within you, and I see how you have been trying to make sense of it, wondering why certain things no longer feel right, why conversations drain you more quickly, why places that once felt familiar now seem distant, and even in the quiet moments when everything around you appears still, there is something inside you that will not settle the way it used to, and this is where many begin to doubt themselves, thinking something is wrong, thinking they are losing direction. But I need you to understand that you are not losing your way, you are becoming more aware of what no longer aligns with who you are meant to be, and that discomfort you feel is not meant to harm you, it is guiding you, gently but persistently, towards something different, something that requires you to slow down and notice, because there have been patterns in your life that kept repeating, situations that seemed to circle back no matter how much effort you put in, and you started to question whether you were doing something wrong, whether you were somehow stuck, but what you could not see is that those cycles were being revealed so you could finally recognize them, not to trap you but to free you from continuing them unconsciously, and I know there were moments when you felt overlooked, when it seemed like others were moving forward while you remained in the same place, carrying the same questions, facing the same uncertainty, and it may have made you feel small, or even invisible at times. But I never saw you that way. I saw your persistence, your quiet strength, the way you kept showing up even when you did not feel confident, and that matters more than you realize, because growth does not always look like progress from the outside, sometimes it looks like stillness, like waiting, like learning to sit with what you do not yet understand, and this is where your perspective begins to shift, because what felt like delay was actually preparation, what felt like silence was space being made for something new to take root within you, and you are closer than you think to seeing why things unfolded the way they did, but you must not rush past this moment, because there is something deeper unfolding here that you almost overlooked, something subtle but important, and as you stay present, you will begin to notice it more clearly, the small changes in your reactions, the way you are starting to choose differently, even in simple everyday moments, and that is the beginning of a new direction forming within you, one that will guide you forward step by step, not all at once, but in a way that brings clarity without pressure, and peace without force. So remain here with me, because the next part will help you understand what has been happening around you, not to overwhelm you, but to give you the awareness you need to move forward with confidence and calm. My child, there is something I want you to gently notice, not with fear but with awareness, because the signs around you have been quietly speaking for some time now, and you may have dismissed them as coincidence or overthinking, yet deep inside you felt that subtle pull, that pause in your spirit when something did not feel right or when something unexpectedly brought you a sense of calm, and I was present in those moments, guiding your attention, not forcing you, but inviting you to look a little closer at what your life has been showing you, because think about the recent times when plans did not work out the way you expected, when something you were certain about suddenly shifted or fell apart, and at first it felt disappointing, maybe even confusing, but later you realized that it created space. Space you did not know you needed, space that allowed something healthier or more aligned to enter, and this is how I often guide you, not by controlling every outcome, but by gently redirecting your path through what opens and what closes, and there have also been moments when you felt an unexpected sense of peace about a decision, even if it did not make perfect sense logically, a quiet knowing that encouraged you to take a step forward or to step back, and that calm presence was not random, it was guidance meeting you where you are, helping you learn to trust something deeper than fear or pressure, and I know there were times when you ignored that inner signal, when you pushed forward out of habit or expectation, and it led to more stress or frustration, not as a punishment, but as a reminder to slow down and listen more carefully, because you are learning, step by step, how to recognize what supports you and what drains you, and even in simple daily moments, like choosing how to spend your time, who to respond to, or when to rest, these small decisions are shaping your path in ways you may not fully see yet, and that is why I am asking you now to look back with gentle honesty, not to judge yourself, but to understand, to see how far you have come, to notice the patterns that are becoming clearer, and to recognize that you are not moving in circles as you once thought, you are moving through layers of understanding, each one bringing you closer to clarity, and as you begin to see these signs more clearly, you will also begin to feel a growing sense of trust within yourself, a quiet confidence that does not rush or force, but simply knows when something feels right or when it is time to pause. And stay with this awareness, because the next part will help you understand why these shifts have been happening and what they are preparing you for, not as a sudden change, but as a steady unfolding that you are already a part of, my child. This is the moment where your understanding begins to shift, not all at once, but gently, like light slowly filling a room you thought would remain dark, because there were things in your life that felt like losses, moments that seemed to take something away from you, and you carried the weight of those experiences, believing they set you back or left you with less than before. But I want you to look again, not through the lens of disappointment, but through the quiet awareness that is growing within you, and notice how some of those closed doors protected you from paths that would have drained you, how certain relationships that faded or changed created space for you to rediscover your own voice, and how situations that did not work out as planned spared you from outcomes that would not have supported your well-being. And this is not to deny that it was difficult, because it was, and I saw how you questioned why things unfolded that way. I saw how you tried to hold on, hoping for a different outcome, and when it did not happen, it felt like something was taken from you, but now you are beginning to see that what felt like loss was also protection, quiet and unseen at the time, but meaningful in ways that are becoming clearer now, and the same is true for the delays you have experienced, the times when you felt like you were standing still while everything around you seemed to move forward, and it may have made you wonder if you were falling behind, if you had missed your moment, but what you did not see then is that those slower seasons were shaping you, strengthening your patience, refining your understanding, and preparing you for what requires a steadier foundation, because not everything can arrive all at once without overwhelming you, and what you once called delay was actually preparation unfolding at the right pace for you, and even the silence you felt, the moments when you wondered why there was no clear answer, no immediate direction, those moments were not empty, they were invitations to rest your mind, to reconnect with yourself, to find a kind of peace that does not depend on having everything figured out, and I know it was not easy to sit in that quiet, because you wanted clarity, you wanted movement, you wanted reassurance, but in that stillness, something important was taking place within you, a deeper calm, a steadier sense of trust, a space where you could begin to hear more clearly without the noise of constant urgency, and now, as you look back, even briefly, you can begin to connect these pieces, not perfectly, but enough to see that your story has not been random, that what you experienced has been guiding you, shaping you, protecting you, and preparing you in ways that are now starting to come together, and this realization does not require you to have all the answers, it simply invites you to release the belief that everything that felt difficult was against you, because much of it was working for you in ways you could not yet see, and stay with this awareness. Because what comes next will help you understand how this shift within you is opening the way forward, step by step, with clarity that feels steady and real. My child, I know there are moments in your daily life that quietly test your faith, not in dramatic ways, but in the small, personal spaces where no one else is watching, like when you check your phone hoping for a message that never arrives, or when you wait for an answer that seems delayed longer than you expected, and it leaves you wondering if you have been forgotten. Or when you stand in front of opportunities that do not open no matter how many times you knock, and you begin to question your direction, your timing, even your worth. And there are also those moments when a relationship starts to feel distant, when the connection that once felt strong becomes quiet or uncertain, and you do not fully understand why, and it brings a sense of loss that you carry silently. And even in something as simple as a quiet evening, when everything slows down and the distractions fade, you may feel a deep sense of being alone, as if the world has moved on without you. And I see every one of these moments, not just the outcome, but the feeling behind them, the questions they raise in your heart, the doubt that tries to take root. And I want you to understand something clearly and gently: you are not being abandoned in these experiences, you are being held through them, even when it does not feel obvious, because your faith is not only built in moments of clarity and ease, it is also shaped in these quiet uncertainties, where you are learning to trust beyond what you can immediately see. And when a call does not come, it does not mean you are not valued. It may be creating space for you to reconnect with yourself instead of waiting for validation from others. And when a door does not open, it is not always rejection, sometimes it is redirection towards something that aligns more deeply with who you are becoming. And when a relationship shifts or grows distant, it does not erase the meaning it once had, but it may be guiding you to recognize what you need now, what supports your growth and your peace. And even in those quiet evenings when you feel unseen, you are not alone in the way your thoughts may suggest. I am present with you in that stillness, offering a calm that does not demand attention but is always there when you choose to notice it. And I know it is not always easy to hold on to this understanding when emotions feel strong, when doubt feels convincing, but you are not expected to have perfect faith. You are simply invited to remain open, to pause instead of rushing to conclusions, to breathe and allow yourself to consider that there is more happening beneath the surface than what you can immediately see. And this is where your trust begins to deepen, not by forcing belief, but by gently recognizing that you are still being guided even in the moments that feel uncertain. So stay present here, because what comes next will help you see how these everyday experiences are leading you towards something more stable, more aligned, and more peaceful than you have known before. My child, as you move through your days with this growing awareness, you may begin to notice small and gentle moments that seem to stand out in quiet ways, not loudly, not in a way that demands your attention, but softly, like something inviting you to pause and reflect. And these moments are not meant to overwhelm you or to convince you that everything is extraordinary, but rather to remind you that you are not moving through life unnoticed. Because think about the times when you hear a simple sentence, maybe from a conversation, a video, or even a passing comment, and it speaks directly to something you have been feeling inside, as if it meets you right where you are, and for a brief moment, you feel understood without needing to explain yourself. And that feeling matters, not because it is something magical, but because it brings clarity and reassurance when you need it most. And there may also be times when a message arrives at just the right moment, not necessarily solving everything, but offering a sense of timing that feels meaningful, like when you were unsure about something and then suddenly receive a response, a word of encouragement, or even a simple check-in that shifts your perspective. And these are the kinds of moments that help you stay grounded, reminding you that connection still exists even when things feel uncertain. And you may also notice a calm feeling appearing unexpectedly, perhaps in the middle of a busy day or during a moment that would normally cause stress. And instead of reacting the way you used to, you find yourself breathing more slowly, thinking more clearly, and responding with a steadiness that feels new to you. And this calm is not something you forced, it is something that has been developing within you over time. And it is a sign that you are learning how to carry peace even when everything around you is not perfect. And sometimes it shows up through small opportunities, not the kind that immediately change everything, but the kind that gently open a door, like a conversation that leads to a new idea, or a chance to try something different that you might have overlooked before, and while these opportunities may seem small at first, they are often steps that guide you forward in ways that become clearer later. And even the delays you experience can begin to look different when you reflect on them, because there have been times when something did not happen when you expected, and later you realize that waiting helped you avoid a decision that would not have served you well, or gave you time to approach something with more clarity and confidence, and this is how your path is being shaped, not through dramatic events, but through these steady, everyday experiences that invite you to pay attention, to trust your growing awareness, and to move forward with a sense of calm rather than pressure. So stay with this understanding, because the next part will help you see how these small moments are coming together to guide you towards something more meaningful and aligned with who you are becoming. My child, you are beginning to feel a quiet shift within yourself, a change that is not forced but chosen, and it may feel unfamiliar at first because you have spent so long trying to hold on, trying to fix, trying to make things work that were never meant to stay the same, but now you are starting to loosen your grip, not out of defeat, but understanding. And there is a strength in that you are only now beginning to recognize, because letting go is not about giving up, it is about making space for what truly belongs in your life, and I see how you are starting to release the need to chase after answers that never came, to stop waiting for doors that have clearly closed, and instead of standing there knocking again and again, you are slowly turning away, not in anger, not in bitterness, but with a growing sense of peace that tells you it is time to move forward. And this is not something that happens all at once, it comes in moments, in choices, in quiet realizations, like when you decide not to revisit the same thoughts that once kept you stuck, or when you choose not to reach out again to someone who has already shown you where they stand. And these moments may seem small, but they are powerful, because they reflect a deeper change in your heart. And I know there have been wounds, things that were said or left unsaid, expectations that were not met, and it would be easy to carry that weight with you, to let it shape how you see yourself and others, but you are beginning to understand that holding on to that pain does not protect you, it only keeps you tied to what has already passed, and this is where forgiveness begins, not as a sudden act, but as a quiet decision to release the hold that past hurt has on your present, not because everything was right, but because you deserve peace more than you need to carry resentment. And as you do this, you may notice something changing inside you, a lightness, a sense of calm that does not depend on everything around you being perfect, because peace is not found in having every answer or every situation resolved, it is found in the way your heart responds, in the way you choose to remain steady even when life is uncertain, and you are learning that you do not need to chase every opportunity, prove yourself to everyone, or force things to happen just to feel secure, because what is meant for you will not require you to abandon your peace to receive it, and this realization is freeing you, step by step, from the patterns that once kept you anxious and unsure, and now, instead of being driven by fear of missing out or fear of being left behind, you are beginning to move with intention, with trust, with a quiet confidence that allows you to walk forward without rushing. And stay here with this feeling, because the next part will help you see how this new way of being is opening a path that feels more stable, more aligned, and more deeply connected to who you truly are becoming. My child, you may not fully see it yet, but something within you is beginning to settle into place, not in a rushed or overwhelming way, but in a steady and grounded way that prepares you for what is ahead. And this is why I have been guiding you to slow down, to become more aware of your thoughts, your habits, and the way you move through your days, because what is coming next in your life does not require perfection, but it does ask for presence, honesty, and a willing heart, and you are learning this step by step, even in the smallest choices you make, like how you speak to yourself when things do not go as planned, or how you respond when something challenges your patience, and instead of reacting quickly, you are beginning to pause, to breathe, to choose a response that reflects who you are becoming rather than who you used to be. And this is part of your preparation, not something separate from your journey, but something that shapes it from within. And there are moments now when you feel the urge to be more honest, not only with others but with yourself, to acknowledge what you truly feel instead of hiding it, to express your needs clearly instead of hoping they will be understood without words. And this honesty is not meant to create conflict, it is meant to bring clarity and alignment into your life. And as you continue, you may notice your prayers becoming quieter, more sincere, less about asking for immediate change and more about seeking understanding, strength, and peace in the present moment. And this shift is important, because it allows you to connect in a way that is not driven by urgency or fear, but by trust and openness, and I am guiding you to take steps forward, not blindly, but with a sense of responsibility for your own growth, your own choices, your own path, and this means doing what you can with what is in front of you, even when the outcome is not fully clear, because faith is not about having every answer before you begin, it is about moving forward with a steady heart, trusting that each step will reveal what you need next, and you are not being asked to rush into something beyond your readiness, you are being invited to prepare yourself from the inside, to build a foundation that can support what is coming, and there will be moments where you feel a quiet anticipation, a sense that something is beginning to open, not dramatically, but gently, like a path becoming visible one step at a time, and this is why your focus now matters, because how you care for your thoughts, your actions, and your intentions will shape how you receive what is ahead, so stay with this process, continue to move with calm intention, because the next part will help you see how everything you have been learning is coming together into something meaningful and steady. Something that you are ready to step into with confidence and peace.